Welcome back to another episode of the Gauntlet with myself, Jay Crypto, and Timmy.
Meow. How you doing today, Jay?
I'm doing good, man. Really excited to get into this stuff. We got 4 sponsored projects, so we disclose that every time. They're sponsoring our channels. We're not promising any financial gain. Everyone should do their own research. We've been paid to review these projects and do our best job to review them. And that's the truth. So we'll say that. We try to have a standard of disclosure better than most YouTube channels, and hopefully that promotes more YouTube channels to do that. But some of these projects, Timmy, I am really excited to get into. I know I'm covering 2, and I think you're covering the other one. But what's going to be fun is these are projects, at least one of them is different from the other 2. So it's kind of nice to go cross genre because we're going to be doing play to earn gaming. Then we're going to be talking about some social PFP project with Ape Nation. And then you're going to be talking about, obviously, I'll let you disclose the one that you'll be talking about too.
Yeah, that sounds good. I think you covered it well. There'll be 3 projects on the show tonight or this afternoon, depending on what time zone you're in. Hey, Nikki, good to see you there. ACM and Brad, thanks for coming in early. As Jay described, we're going to start by talking about Ape Nation. And it is interesting. All 3 of the projects today are in different stages of their roadmap. Ape Nation already obviously has minted, and I think actually on Valentine's Day is when Ape Nation officially launched. And then the other 2 projects are actually not ape projects. Can you imagine that? It's an NFT project, but it's not an ape. It's going to be a wolf project. As far as I know, this might be the only wolf project we have so far on Cardano. I know there's been a couple dog projects, but I haven't seen a wolf project yet. So that'll be Ada Wolf Pack, and they're actually minting next weekend. And then the third project is AdaQuest, which once again is a totally different project. So hit it right on the head there, Jay. And I think if we have some time in between the projects, we can do a little bit of chatting, talk about the market more generally. I know Jay Crypto's been researching a lot of blockchain stuff this week with the Vassal hard fork coming. We covered a little bit about that last week, but we can maybe remind people about what's coming there. That could be cool.
Absolutely, man. There's my brain is from all the different things of being a YouTuber, right? Whether it's engaging with some of the projects that I cover and their communities, or whether it's talking about these updates, doing my best out here to try to absorb as much as possible about Cardano. And that was my goal for Q2. I think I told you that, is to really dig into the architecture that's happening. And there's a lot going on there. I think it's the perfect time, if we are in a bearish market, to kind of discuss these things and give people kind of a chance to slap on a layer of paint of why this blockchain, if they have NFT projects that they're invested in, or if they're investing in the DeFi protocols, why this blockchain is, I guess, different than other blockchains that you might see in mainstream crypto news. So I do find that really important. And I try to talk to actual devs, and I'm not saying I know everything, but I really try to get my information from the sources, which is IOHK, Plutus Devs. And man, I'll tell you, trying to bridge that gap from the devs to the people, it's a lot. You got to really understand this stuff. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to really understand this stuff so I can bring it in a format that makes sense.
No, you're doing a great job. I watched your video about the Vassal hard fork. It totally made sense. You explained it really, really well. You also did a video about dynamic NFTs. And if we have time, maybe that'll be a fun one to talk about today, because we did talk about Vassal and reference things last week. We didn't really talk about dynamic NFTs last week. So we'll see. Maybe between the first and second project, we talk about DNFTs and what that could mean. And I've been looking at them quite a bit. The project that I'm working on is gonna have dynamic NFTs. And I mean, you could say, AdaQuest might be doing similar things. So today might be a good episode to talk about some of that.
Yeah, I'd love to ask you some questions about what you're doing too, because part of me feels like there's infrastructure still coming to Cardano where dynamic NFTs will thrive on when that infrastructure comes. And then part of me feels like there's some things that you can probably do right now.
Yeah, you got it.
Is that kind of
okay?
Oh,
yeah, sorry. I think so. I think there's different ways to think about dynamic NFTs. Maybe we'll jump into it in a little bit later, but you're right. There's like a simple version that you could do already. You know, I mean, some of the stuff that Hypebeast is doing, you could consider dynamic
Right.
NFTs.
I agree with
And then there's more stuff maybe coming down the road. So yeah, should be good.
So Ape Nation, I mean, this is honestly a community. I'm not sure if they're going to show up today, you know, but I know that there's a few people that will be watching from the team, and this is a community. Are we ready to go into Ape Nation and
I
kind of
think we might as well. We got 3 projects today. Let's go ahead and jump in so we don't run out of time. Yeah.
Okay. So let me open up my screen share here. Let me know if you can see that.
Yep, I see
Shout out,
infinity.
shout out to all the beautiful people that came to the Gauntlet today.
Meow.
So I have their Twitter pulled up. You can see that, Timmy?
Yep, looks good.
So 9,999 of the sexiest apes in the jungle. So I know what you guys are saying, girls are saying, oh, it's an ape project. It is, you know, and there's a lot of people that love ape projects, despite, you know, some people that say, oh, it's another ape project. I do want to say, though, that these apes are different from apes that we've seen, right? Like they are different apes. They're not the typical Bored Ape Yacht Club apes. And what I wanted to highlight, though, is what's been kind of going on and what they're going towards and talk about their roadmap a bit. And then I wanted to discuss some of the things like the Cnft Club, their upcoming mutations, some really cool stuff they have in the works. And Timmy, feel free to chime in at any point if you want to elaborate on something that I say. But there's a few things that are actually pretty cool going on here. So we have a community takeover, which was in Q1 of 2022. Now, you might know, but Fettuccine is a very influential presence for Cardano and for CNFTs. Do you know about Fettuccine?
I know, yeah, I know about fettuccine. I do linguine, rigatoni. I'm a big fan of all 3 of those.
Yep.
But fettuccine is definitely the most epic.
Dude, I love fettuccine Alfredo. And I
Yep.
also think that Fettuccine joining this team as an advisor gave this community takeover exactly what it needed to really thrive. I think he's an awesome person to join as an advisor. I've never had the chance to talk to Fettuccine, but I'm sure that we'll cross paths eventually. But he's very well respected in the space. So then they talk about what else they were doing: expand Twitter following and increase Discord numbers, regular giveaways across both Twitter and Discord, listed on Cnft.io and Epoch Art, which is like not a new marketplace, but a relatively newer marketplace as well. And I do know that it's been picking up some traction.
Yep.
Integration of QTY holder roles. Okay. Community vote on Ape Nation path forward. Now, what they did, though, was they actually broke it down into kind of like tiers. So they have this thing called the Canopy Club for the top 1,000 rarest apes. And there's a bunch of benefits that I'll pull up their Discord when we're talking about some of your thoughts too, Timmy, on the project later on. And I'll go into some of their announcements in the Discord as well. But what I just wanted to say is if you have one of the top 1,000 rarest apes, there's been a lot of benefits that have been announced for having those. And they're going to continue to dish out those benefits. So they kind of give you an incentive to hold the top 1,000 rarest apes. You know what I mean, Timmy?
And that's top 1,000 out of 10,000, right? Well, 9,999. So like the top 10%.
Right. Exactly. New website and roadmap launch. Honestly, I think they've done an incredible job at this personally. And I'm not just saying that. Like when the community took over, when Fettuccine got on board, this project as a social PFP project took an awesome turn, in my
It
opinion.
looks sick. I love the card design. That's cool.
I actually owed an ape, and I'll show you guys my ape in a minute here. But I actually owed, and I try to disclose what I own things in a certain project. I actually own one, and I bought it. So they didn't give me it. I actually bought it.
Yeah, full disclosure, I own one as well.
Oh, you own an Ape Nation, dude? Let's go.
Yeah. I have one of most things, but yeah, I have one of these. I think it's pretty cool. Like, especially what I want to highlight is actually the very first bullet that you talked about, the fact that this is a community takeover. So basically a community rescue, I think would be a great way to describe it. They rescued what was essentially a rug pull project, and the community stepped in, much in the way that Miss Muffet did with Ada Clouds, reinventing it as Ada Elements. And for me, that's the big kind of story here, is that this is a community who rescued the project, and it's really gaining traction now.
Yeah, I wasn't going to touch on that too much. Obviously, they've done so much work to really get the bad taste of what happened out of people's mouths. They've rebranded, they've completely done the website. But while we're on that subject, that was only possible because they had a strong enough community that actually came together, met each other, talked, and they had people that were serious about, taking it over and growing the project. I've talked to a couple people on the team, and I gotta tell you, I'm actually pretty impressed. I'm not gonna lie. Like, they're very serious about taking this over and creating an awesome social PFP experience for the next generation of Ape Nation community members as well. But it is cool to see that. And then the Jungle Club. So if you don't get into the top 1,000, then you might be able to snipe 1,000 to 5,000 because there's additional benefits. You can go into the Discord, ask what those are, go into the announcements, check out what those are as well. So there's kind of like a tiering going on here, if you notice, of rarity. I think this is actually a good thing because it incentivizes collectability. And I don't think enough projects think about collectability when it does come to their NFTs, Timmy.
Interesting. Yep.
Ape Nation Jungle Juice vials drop and trading commences. So we'll be showing you some of those later on. But basically, if you own an OG ape, so one of the first 9,999, then essentially what you can do is get there's 3 vials, okay? There's this thing called like a mega vial, right? And then there's a V1 and V2. Now, if you take your OG ape, this is coming in Q3. They haven't announced a date yet because they're still developing the art. But you can grab one of these vials, a V1 vial. You can send your ape in with the vial, and then you'll get back your OG ape and a mutated ape, which is pretty cool. But then you can actually collect the V2 vial, right? And you can send in your OG ape again and get a different mutated OG ape back with your OG ape as well.
So now, you can turn one OG ape into 3, is what you just described.
Right. And they're going to be mutated. And there's only so many vials, though, right? So there's only so many mutated apes that can actually come into existence. But what's kind of cool, too, is this mega vial, which we'll talk about later on. It's like you don't even need an OG ape. If you own one of those, you can just send that in when they do the mutations, and boom, you'll actually get a really sick, awesome ape, quote unquote, from what the team told me. They're really excited about those. So I just figured that I would let you know. By holding an ape in the top 1,000 rarity, I have this one right here.
Oh, wow. That's cool with the crown. I like that. He looks like a wise kind of like king wizard that likes to ski.
So when I got this, right, I was looking at the apes. I was like, which one should I get? My contact lens was actually like malfunctioning and it wasn't working. So I only could see through one eye because I wear contacts and these are blue light glasses. So I saw this and I was like, it's a sign.
Nice. Wow, that's serendipity there.
A little story behind that. But I don't know, man. It's crazy. But so basically, that's something that you need to remember because like you can just kind of try to get one of those mega vials as well. Ape Nation escrow service launch, community vote on Ape Nation ape burn. So this actually happened and they decided not to burn the apes, the OG apes, from my understanding, which was kind of cool. So they actually do, when they're deciding things, the team does go to the community and has them vote in the Discord on like decisions that they are like, well, this has pros and cons. Let's let the community vote. That's a good thing to see.
Yep.
So what's planned for Q3? So advertising, marketing, and collaboration push. I guess that's kind of, we're not in Q3 technically, but that's kind of why they've supported us here today too, Timmy. They're probably just trying to market and show people what they have kind of in store So that way in a few months, people can look back and be like, wow, they actually followed through on a lot of that stuff. And then they'll market the results. Canopy Club members to receive 25% royalties, distribution to be announced. Or what does TBD mean again? I always think
to
that
be
means
determined.
to be decided, to be determined, right?
Yep.
So that's kind of interesting. I didn't actually know that when I got a Canopy Club Ape. Again, it was just I wanted to get something rare enough, and my contact wasn't working, but that's cool. Ape Nation, Mutation Nation merchandise. So this obviously is in the way. I don't expect to see anything soon about the merchandise, but who knows? Maybe they already have something in their Discord that I missed. Mutation Nation launch will be in Q3, so that's the big event that they have coming up. Cnft Con 2022 giveaway. And then I feel like they leave a lot of flexible updates that they can kind of tinker with and change, but they're not promising, if you notice, they're not promising a metaverse. They're not promising a game. All of this stuff is extremely doable, in my opinion. So that was kind of refreshing to see. And when I talked with a team member, they were also very logical in their approach of how to take this project and start building, right?
Yep.
They want to hit milestones and achievements that are extremely doable. So why don't I stop sharing my screen for a second here, and then I'll pull up a few more things as well, and then we can kind of go back and I'll show you some stuff and we can kind of talk. So Timmy, what are your thoughts currently on the Ape Nation? What do we have going on in the chat?
First in the chat, actually, we can take a minute. You did get a question while you were talking from Chris asking if you bought a seal. I think he's talking about the Seal Society, but actually Alduis answered for him. He clarified that JCrypto did, in fact, buy a seal, but not the way you think. He says here that you've purchased a real live seal as a pet. You keep it in a kiddie pool behind your garage. And that, in fact, Alduis saw it at a barbecue last weekend. Well, that's interesting. You didn't tell me you had a barbecue. Let's talk about that. What was the barbecue, Jay?
So basically what happened was my dog said no cats allowed.
Okay.
Unfortunately. So we couldn't invite you, Timmy, to the barbecue because we didn't want to have a cat homicide.
Got it.
We didn't want to deal with the legal ramifications of seeing you tore to pieces. I did get a seal, and guess what, man? I got a Timmy seal.
Oh, wow, that's great. One of the blue skin Timmy seals. I love it. Maybe I'll ask you to show that to us a little bit later. But getting back to Ape Nation, you asked if we had any questions. We've actually got TP here. TP is one of the members of the team. So big shout out for them for joining. And from what I understand, they might have posted about the Gauntlet in their Discord a few minutes ago. So I think we have a lot of Ape Nation fan listening and potentially in the live chat as well. I think about Ape Nation more broadly, and I'll just come right out and say, JCrypto, this is not financial advice, but I think this is one of the biggest underrated projects on Cardano right now. I absolutely love the art style. I have one, but I am going to have more than one before the day is over. I am definitely going to be picking up some more. I was looking at the art last night, and I'm a fan of this art, even more than some of, well, Ape Nation, Ape Society, I really love that art. But I like this one more than Kong's personally, just for the art style. I like the kind of like the slimmer type of presentation. And so I actually might share my screen for a minute if I can, Jay. And I want to show like a few of the models here.
Oh yeah, I have those too. But yeah, why don't you share your screen and then I'll pull up everything that I've just pulled up too later on if you don't cover it.
Okay, sweet. Yeah. So I just went on to JPG store and check this out. It's a 98 a floor. But look at how sick this art is. Like, I like this kind of slimmer, almost like it reminds me of like a skater, like a skateboarder or something like that. It's a much more approachable presentation. And they've got some pretty cool traits here. The dollar sign in the eyes. I haven't seen that on Cardano yet. The diamond grill, I think, is really well executed. Let me zoom in a bit. I wish I could get rid of the header. But yeah, the visor, like I'm seeing a few traits that I haven't seen on some of the other collections. And then they've got different skins. Look at this red, kind of red furred ape here. And, you know,
really pops out.
Yeah, it really pops out, right? I mean, these give me big, like Bored Ape Yacht Club feel, but they're slimmer, they're skinnier.
They're different enough where it's like, yeah. So, I mean, what I think happened here was the art came out, and then you got to remember that there was a community that really loved this art, and that's what makes this project strong. Because once they've taken over the project, added Fettuccine on as an advisor, buttoned up and put on their ties, right, and went to work. I mean, there was like a deep-seated love of this community that actually is blooming into what I think is something pretty cool.
I agree. I totally agree. This is a strong community to have rescued the project. Look at this one here with the beanie and this beautiful rose. I just think it's really, really well done. I want to pick up some more. So these are the ones at the top of the price ladder right now. Let me just flip it on you for a second. If we go low to high,
I'll
you
show
can
the
see.
vials after this too. They're pretty sick.
All right, I'll let you do the vials. And so
They're
you can see that some of these are under 100. And so you can still get like a Wicked Rose under 100, Bubblegum. Like there's still some good ones in the 2-digit range. Dice? I haven't seen Dice in another collection yet. Have you, Jay? That's
I
kind of
don't know if
cool.
I've seen Dice. There's a few treats here that I haven't seen, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So I'm really, really digging it. And I want to know more. Like they've already got this mutation thing that they're planned, so that's coming up on their roadmap. And so it seems like it's not a zombie project, it's not a dead project. They're really just getting a second life. So yeah, I really like the art. It's cool inmate one here. I like how they all seem to have kind of different age somehow as well. This white-haired one seems a little bit more veteran, like he might be the shot caller in prison or something like that. I love the tongue out, really thick tongue, right? There's just something about it that I really like. So beautiful, beautiful artwork, nice puffy jacket there. Yeah, very cool. Let me actually pass it back to you then, Jay.
All right, cool. Because I want to show people these vials, and you got to remember, like the original art. It's going to be fun to see what the community does with the Mutation Nation side of it, because that's going to be their time to showcase, their next, okay, what are these kind of turn into, and I'm excited to see what they do. But yeah, let me share my screen and kind of go over a couple more things here. All right. So as you can see, when we click on vials and mutants, it says coming soon. When we go to merch, we'll let that load, coming soon. But as Timmy was showing you, all the apes, I just wanted to show people, if you wanted to look at something in the Canopy Club or something in what was the other club called again? The 1,000 to 5,000. Let's just double check. The
Jungle Club.
The Jungle Club. Then you can go over to Cnft tools, and let's just see what the floor price is, because I like to look too. So I guess the best way to do this would probably be, they have a ranking. Is that rarity? Do you know, Timmy?
Yeah. So are you trying to sort by price? You can do that at the top. If you go where it says sort rarity on the left, just choose price. And then under listings,
Perfect.
choose.
Yeah.
Choose
So I just did it, Timmy. Sorry to cut you off, man. I was just in my own head, but I put in 1,000 maximum for rank, put in price, and then I'll show you the cheapest in the Canopy Club. So you can see that the cheapest right now is 944, which is actually pretty nuts. I believe I got one at like 500 ADA. So obviously, since they've announced this and people have gotten to know, I think I saw that Freedom in the team member too in the chat could correct me on this, but did Freedom 35ers just do a really nice piece on Ape Nation? I believe I heard that they did, just in like a Twitter space. But Timmy, let's go sort by 5,000, my man. Let's see what the floor price. So you can get into the Jungle Club at 100 ADA.
Look at that. Look at the one there for 120 ADA with the 3D glasses, with the tongue out. I like that one. What's that? Rank 8614 on the right.
Oh yeah,
That's a cool looking ape. Yeah, I got my eye on that one. Very cool.
Dude, I love it, man. And like that's the kind of the cool part, right? But these are the vials. Okay. So as you can see, Jungle Juice V1. I got airdropped one of these. There's a bunch of different types though, right? So like if we go to, so this is the mega. Okay. This is the mega. I might
and
have
only 38 of the mega vials. So it's a quick reminder on that. Super rare, but it lets you get an ape without owning an ape. So it's pretty cool.
Let's take a look at this one, because this is V2. So, I mean, what do you think, Timmy? It looks like there's a banana in here. It's a mutated banana.
It's clearly original art, right? We have seen some other projects just kind of copy their files from other projects, but this one, it's clearly original. Really, really cool. I like how like the stuff is like it's escaping the vial, right? Like you can see some of the purple foam actually escaping. There's so much power in there. Quick update as well. The team member just let us know. Yeah, Freedom 35ers episode 28 actually covered this project. So it really does feel like the marketing activities are picking up.
So V2 floor, you can get a V2 vial at 100 ADA. I think these will go up. Because you got to remember, Timmy, that you can actually do it twice, right? So I'm almost looking, maybe I should get a V2 vial too, just so that way I'm like able to get 2 more, since I have the V1, if you get the V2, you can actually send in your ape with the V1, get back a mutant, send in your ape again with the V2. So another thing is like, yeah, we're going to airdrop you something, but we're going to incentivize everyone to collect it. And I don't think enough projects do that. I think that that's actually a really smart move, personally, from like, and if they're going to do things like that, then things that get airdropped have collectible desire in the future. I mean, it just kind of shows you how they think about this stuff, right? And I like to go into the psychology behind the founders and teams of projects and how they're doing their drops, because this kind of gives us an indicator of what their future airdrops will do in terms of, if it's desired, then that means it's probably going to be bought more, right? But of course, not financial advice. Just wanted to highlight that real quick, Tim.
I really love how like you're gonna get your original one back, because the original ones look so cool. They look so fresh, and like we have seen other projects where you can mutate it, but then you lose your original. And so the projects have like created a feature to let you preview what it would look like, so you could decide if you want to mutate or not. But here we don't need to make any decision. We can have our mutated ape and our original ape. Really, really cool. As we mentioned, it looks like the V2s start at 100 floor. What's the floor on the V1s? If you scroll up, you can get V1s for, wow, just under 30 ADA, 29 ADA. And it looks like, thanks, Brendan. Brendan let us know that a V3 sold for 4,600 ADA. Holy cow. That's a lot of catnip.
Bro, that's like, look at this. The floor for the juggle juice is 6,600.
Insane.
No, I wanted one, man.
Look at that. His head's exploding. There's so much power.
Would
Very
you drink
cool.
this, Timmy? Would you drink this to turn into a what's it called? What are these, baby?
To turn into one of the
A
blue
mutant
seals.
seal or something?
I don't know.
But
Maybe.
it's interesting, right? So huge shout out to Ape Nation. I don't know if we really missed anything. I do think that when it comes to social PFP projects, I like, they don't need to promise a metaverse. They don't need to promise a play to earn game, because in reality, what their main goal will be is like building kind of a brand, right? And when people show up to something like Cnft Con and they see Ape Nation is there and they meet them, that's a lot of credibility. I think projects are probably thinking about this, but maybe some aren't. Showing up to something like Cnft Con not only gives you credibility to the people that show up and meet you, but it also gives you credibility past that, because when the community says, hey, you know what, I met these guys and girls in person and they're actually really cool, IRL, then when somebody new comes into the community and they hear that, they're like, oh, okay, well, that eliminates my biggest fear, which is that these people don't exist. So I do think that that's also a nice thing that they're planning to do.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. Everything I'm seeing out of here looks really, really good. Community seems strong. We did get a quick disclosure from TP that it sounds like he's not an official team member, but he is like one of their website developers and a designer. So in my book, that makes him a team member. They should make him an official team member. Full disclosure, I was chatting with TP about Ape Nation yesterday, and he was totally like explaining it super, super well. I think it's a he. So yeah, let's get him on the team, guys. TP at is an amazing value for this project. He's a big reason why we're talking about it. So let's go ahead. Actually, I wanted to ask you, Jay, beyond the mutation, did you see anything in terms of like what might be in the roadmap past the mutation work?
Let me check. For me, it seems like that's their biggest thing.
Everyone's focused on that.
Well, I think that what they've done with the vials is they wanted to create the vials, but they really wanted to make the next artwork as sick as possible.
Mhm.
That's what I'm told, is like the mutation artwork, they're focused on developing that, and they really want to take their time to make that as sick as possible. I do think this is smart because it's kind of like their chance to show what they're capable of, you know,
Yep.
what the team is capable of. I think from the website, it's funny that TP's here because the website rebrand looks amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
even those cards with the NFT. I think they've probably talked about a lot of things, right? Like projects do, but they're not going to come out and announce something until they put a lot of thought into it. And that's kind of what we've seen from them so far. So for this project, it seems like they just want to get their, you know, their footprint here as a serious project looking to build an awesome social PFP project on the Cardano blockchain. And then I'm sure that as the community expands, as the interest grows, they're going to probably be thinking about what other projects are thinking about too, right? Which is like, maybe, who knows, just speculation. They didn't tell me this, but there's a bunch of things that you can do. You can do 3D assets, you can do physical NFT representations, you can do a token, you can have a few mechanisms, but I think going slow is actually smart in this time because the market isn't like crazy hype, right? So it's like you have time to build and think carefully and grow organically. Take that time.
I love it. They're super focused. They're going step by step, not promising the world. They're not promising a metaverse. They're focusing on giving us a really high quality mutation phase here with the jungle juice. And I'm excited. I'm excited for the 3 vials. I'm going to pick some up as soon as the stream ends. I want more of this project. I love that fettuccine's in here as well, and the really strong community. So big shout out. Anything else on Ape Nation?
I should probably just give a quick shout out to the team. Let's see if I can find. Oh yeah, okay. So the team, we have Showtime, we have Mr. B, we have Scram, we have Fettuccine, we have the Wolf, we have Gem Dem, we have J Rod's Crypto, and then we also have Casey Ape. So shout out to the team. Keep building, guys, and keep doing the community that you've been facilitating and building proud. And I think we'll be talking about you guys in the future too.
Yeah, it sounds like they might have an update coming pretty soon here. This new partnership with Lending Pond. So that's pretty cool.
Oh my
If
gosh,
they're
yo,
partnering
Timmy,
with Lend,
I'm so sorry. I completely airballed on that one. That was my favorite thing when doing my research
yeah,
because they've partnered up with Lending Pond, so now you can take collateral out against your ape. This is like a best practice for NFT projects right now, and it shows me that they have the ability to network with other use cases in NFT land as they develop and they're collaborative. So they have that kind of cohesiveness with the broader community.
you got
I
it.
love Lending Pond. I've told you I love Lending Pond. I've met the people behind Lending Pond. I've talked to them. I think what they're doing is going to change NFTs. And as people lock up apes for collateral, just remember that's taking them off of the market for supply. So that's another bullish metric for price.
I agree. Lending Pond, people are, instead of selling their apes, they're just going to kind of lend them out and get some liquidity that way, which kind of locks it up. So yeah, I'm super bullish on Ape Nation. I'm glad we were able to talk about it today. I became a bit of a bull on this project
I
a week
didn't know
ago.
that, Timmy. That's kind of cool. I mean, me and Timmy talk about like NFTs like left and right, so it's funny. But yeah, sometimes I guess we just miss, and we're in the same community. We didn't even know it.
But it's brand new. I was about to say, like a week ago, I didn't really know about Ape Nation. A week ago, I wasn't like a Super Bowl. But after hearing you talk about it today and chatting with TP yesterday and researching for this episode over the last few days, I've become a big bull. I think this is a hidden gem.
Yeah,
NFA.
could be. You know,
Yep.
could be.
Okay, cool. Well, let's pivot for a minute, guys. And I want to talk about a few different things. We can talk a little bit about dynamic NFTs, but first, I wanted to talk about, oh man, there's so many things I want to talk about that happened in the last few days. But the first one
Ooh,
is
I know.
Eternl Wallet. Eternl Wallet
Mhm.
has a mobile wallet. It's an
Yeah,
app. It's an application you can download in the Android store or the
iOS
iOS
is coming.
store.
Oh,
And
is
what
that?
they, yeah, iOS is out. And what happened is a couple days ago they finished a dApp integration. And so what this means now is you can go to jpg.store on your phone and you can hit the buy button and it will open up the Eternl app and you can buy it right there using the mobile app. So just like we've had NAMI wallet as a browser extension on desktop, now You can use JPG Store on your phone and buy NFTs using the Eternl wallet right from the toilet. It's so cool. You can buy NFTs anywhere, anytime, and all you need is your phone.
Dude, I got excited when you started talking about that. I apologize for interrupting you. That gets me so pumped because, like, if you just look at Cardano, it's funny. We're making ground, and Timmy and I have so many conversations, and we share information. Timmy's actually taught me and pointed me in a lot of the right directions because Timmy does develop. He is a developer. He has a dev stack and whatnot, and he sees things that I just don't know as a normal consumer. So I just wanted to point out that in covering ground, right, because there's a lot of things built into Cardano that will shine as we progress, and we see those problems and things like Ethereum gas fees, Solana, or as Timmy says, Soldana. You know, I'm a big fan of blockchain, so I'm not aligned to one blockchain, but right now Cardano is looking pretty good. I think it will have a chance to shine. But as we cover ground in our actual products and features, this is a major one, right? Because we've seen mobile support for MetaMask. We've seen mobile support on other blockchains, but Cardano's catching up quickly. So it can do everything that other blockchains can. And Eternl, shout out to their team because they do some awesome work. I use the Eternl wallet. I love the Eternl wallet, actually. And
this used to be CC Vault, right? This is CC Vault rebranded as Eternl. And they've got a mobile app now that you can use with JPG Store. Now, the Android version came out first. So it's working on Android right now. And then the iOS version is going to be coming in the next few days. They're just waiting for Apple to approve that. Now, the app is available. The app is available, but the integration isn't available on iOS yet. But it could be available any hour or any day. And yeah, I'm right there with you, Cloud Hunk. This is a game changer. For, you know, you can now buy NFTs no matter where you are. You don't need to be sitting at your desk. You can do it at work. You can do it on the bus.
in the toilet.
Yeah, on the toilet, where I do a lot of my best work. So that's a big update I wanted to share. There's one more as well, and this was an amazing kind of thing that exploded yesterday. I'm actually going to go ahead and share my screen on this one real quick. Yeah. This is an update from Alesandro of Space Buds. He created Space Buds. He also created the NAMI wallet. And what he announced yesterday was that he created a Plutus contract that lets anybody mint NFTs. And so it looks like this. You need to own a Space Bud to use it right now. But if you know somebody that owns a Space Bud, they can mint an NFT for you. And so the way it works is they can put in the link to their image, put a name, put a description, hit the mint button, and that NFT, that image will get minted into a collection. Now the collection has 10,000 supply, and it's filling up as we go. Every few minutes, a new person is adding to the collection. So what's happening here is the Cardano community is building an NFT collection as a group. We're all adding into this collection. And so last night, I added Timmy. I minted Timmy on chain into this collection, and I have a link to it on my Twitter. And you can see here, Timmy the cat is actually part of this collection. And the policy ID, you can click it up here. And I'll go ahead and grab the policy ID real quick. And if we jump over to JPG Store, you can actually, let me zoom out a sec. You can put the policy, put the policy ID in here. And you can actually see what's being minted. A lot of people are minting their Space Bud, like they're just copying the Space Bud image and minting that. Some people have minted photos of the beach. People are minting their pets, their family, all kinds of things. There's an Ape Nation one right there.
What?
Ape Nation's logo. We got somebody's lazy feet here. I minted a few Timmy ones as well. I'll show you what we got here for Timmy. A lot of these are from Tao. That's Tao from Tao Crypto, if anyone's familiar. Oh, yes, but then we've got Timmy here. And in fact, we've even got Timmy floats. So this was an epic moment in the history of the Gauntlet where I was floating in the air. So this is part of this is part of the collection now. And so this is a collection of 10,000 NFTs. But there's only been about 150 minted so far. There's still like room for 230 so far out of 10,000. So anybody can come here and add their image into this kind of community built collection. How cool is that? Go ahead, Jay.
So a couple questions. I have a space, but I was fortunate enough to trade up to one earlier this year.
Let's go.
So basically my main question is what happens to your space bud? Nothing. It's
Yep.
still intact.
Nothing happens to your space bud. So what happens is you need to move your space bud to a NAMI wallet and then connect your NAMI wallet. And what happens is when you click the mint button here, it's just going to check that you have a space bud. And if you do, it's going to let you create this new NFT. It's just a way to limit it. Otherwise, too many people would be able to use this and it could be abused, right? And so it's a perk. If you own a space bud, this is a perk. This is a bonus. You're able to use this free NFT minter. And what's cool is you're not creating your own collection. You're creating this crowdsourced collection of NFTs. So yeah, very, very cool. This happened just yesterday. A bunch of us were going ape over it last night. 19 hours ago, he posted. So check it out. If you don't follow Alesandro, you definitely should. He's the creator of Space Buds, creator of the NAMI pool, or the NAMI wallet, and the Berry pool. So it's
that is so cool. I didn't realize I covered that yesterday, man, and I was like, "What is this thing?" And I probably looked like a clown on my video, but I was just curious, and this was exactly what I needed, man. This is like, so basically, this is the first. This is another first, right? This is another first collection of its kind.
Yep.
Now, people probably could have done this in the past, it sounds like, but no one was. So Alessandro just was like, "Hey, guys, this is what you can do with this stuff." Is that correct?
You got it. That's correct. And like on a bit more of the technical side, he's created a Lucid framework. And basically, you guys are familiar that Plutus is Haskell, right? Which is a very difficult to use programming language for some people. It's not common, but JavaScript is much more common. And so Alessandro, what he did is he created a library that kind of lets you do Plutus using JavaScript. It's called Lucid Framework. And so he built this tool as a proof of concept for his library called Lucid. But as it turns out, his proof of concept is totally baller. It lets us mint NFTs. It's a pretty cool proof of concept here. So yes, it is actually Crawford. Sorry, Jay. It's the first Plutus-based minter. First Plutus-based minter, and it's minting into this community collection.
This is unbelievable. So somebody that has a collection of some IP that is like, what do you think? What are your thoughts on like CCO licenses and people? What is that one project? Dbag MFers or whatever.
Yep.
They could probably take one of those because there's a CCO license and even mint it, or you could just make your own picture.
Yep.
I have to think about this, man. I only have one space bud, so this is a big decision on what I decide to mint, I feel like.
You can mint as many as you want. If you have one space bud, you can mint 10 or 20.
Oh, really? I thought there was only 10,000.
Well, there's 10,000 total, but like a lot of people aren't using it. A lot of people aren't going to use it. And so if you own a space
more
bud,
than once?
Yeah, I did 5 or 6 yesterday.
Dude, okay. All right.
And
So I gotta get one out there at least. And then
you gotta at least get one. And then there's still 92,000 spots left. Or no, 9,700 spots. So there's gonna be tons of time. But that's why, one space bud can do multiple. It's not free though. It costs 0.8 ADA. So there's a little bit of dust. So yeah.
That's fine.
So there you go. So those were 2 updates I wanted to share. We can do Wolf Pack now, or we can talk dynamic NFTs. What do you think, Jay?
Well, we definitely want to get into, why don't we do Wolf Pack and then why don't we save dynamic NFTs? That's going to be a really cool conversation, but why don't we space out the sponsored reviews with the updates and kind of
I like that.
A little give and take here. Yeah.
Maybe we do dynamic NFTs at the end of the show, or maybe even next week, because we have the AdaQuest team coming on. So
yeah,
so let's go ahead.
And we can actually talk a little bit about it with them too later on after we touch on what they do.
Yep, you got it. Okay, so let's pivot then to Wolf Pack. Let me just get sorted over here. Okay, so I'm going to make myself big, and there we go. So this is Ada Wolf Pack. Now, this is a project that hasn't minted yet, but they've asked us to cover their project, so they are supporting us today. And I wanted to tell you all about their socials, and they've got a pretty cool white paper that we'll talk about. And I really want to approach this as an advice session. So anyone in the chat, if you guys have advice for this team on what they could do better, I'd love to hear about that because they're very early. So let's see if we can start using the Gauntlet to help projects.
That's
Now,
that's the main that was what we decided when we started this thing, was like, for projects that haven't minted yet, if we can get our community in and give some feedback, advice, what you guys like, what you guys honestly think they could improve on, this is the perfect time too.
yeah, and they're in the chat. They're in the chat with us. Big shout out,
Oh,
Ada Wolf
sweet.
Pack.
Shout out Ada Wolf Pack.
Oh, yep, let's do it. So their Twitter is at Wolfpack Cardano, at Wolfpack Cardano, and you can see they've actually got a pretty decent Twitter following. They're over 4,000 Twitter followers, which is interesting
Wow.
because I didn't know about this project like a few weeks ago. So somehow it's evaded my radar, but a lot of people that follow me follow them. So it looks like it's legitimate. Like, that's a pretty impressive number. And their mint day is next weekend. There's actually a lot of projects minting next weekend. So I'm glad that we're giving some exposure to this one to help them with that. So their website is wolfpackcnft.com. And so if I jump over to there, I love right away, you've got one of these hero images at the top. And that reminds me of, like, maybe I won't bring it up right now, but there's the Ape Society, which did a similar thing. All right, this hero image at the top showing some of their characters, and you can see them here playing poker around the table. So I thought that was pretty cool. Nice welcoming image to their website.
It looks like that one just ate something too. If that's blood, or is that oh no, that's just the nice healthy gums. It's good to see nice healthy gums on wolves.
Well, you might be right. It looks like there's something dripping from the tongue here, right? There
Oh
could
yeah,
be, yeah, there could be a little bit of blood or
fresh
something
cat
there.
meat.
You got it. You got this one here with the baseball cap, this green bottle. I don't know if that's a bottle of Heineken, or in Korea we used to drink soju. Maybe these are soju drinking wolves.
No,
But
I'm just kidding. Like, honestly, this is like a cool little scene too. I'm excited to hear more about the culture of what they're building, because obviously this is kind of like a fun, place to hang out, wolves exchanging information, doing a little gambling, just having some fun, smoking some pipes and whatnot. So it
yep.
seems very laid back, relaxed. But I'll let you talk about it, Timmy, since you're the one that researched it a little more than I did.
Yeah, and I love that, like, you probably have seen in Discord, a lot of projects are doing like poker games for like whitelists and competition. And so I think it's cool that they've got that approach here. It looks like they're playing Texas Hold'em poker, 2 cards in the hand there. So very, very cool. Oh, this guy's got 3 though. So this guy's a cheater over here on the left. But otherwise, yeah, pretty cool to see them playing this game. Scrolling down, there's a beautiful story here. You can It's actually in the white paper as well. I'll show it to you there, but it talks about where these wolves came from, and it talks about why wolves. There's a pretty cool background around how wolves have loyalty and power, and that's why they chose the wolves. But let's look at the art right now and just take a look at some of the things they've done. I'm actually working on a project myself where the ears are getting in the way of the hats, and so I thought it was pretty cool how they have the ears actually poking out of some of these hats. I haven't seen that done before. And then they've got a couple other cool traits, like the bazooka. I don't know if I've seen a bazooka on like an animal project before. I thought that was pretty cool. And then you were talking about the blood yourself, totally like gory on that one. So yeah, I think there's a couple unique traits here, and the clothing looks really nice. There's a few in the white paper that show the clothing even better. But I like the texture and like the smoothness to the clothing. I thought that was pretty cool. Anything jumping at you from the art here, Jay?
No, nothing more than you've mentioned, Timmy. I'm kind of in terms of wolves, there's a really beautiful story. Maybe I'll tell if we have time, but wolves are very interesting to me because I've actually researched wolves a little bit myself, funny enough. And
Oh, wow.
there's a story of like this mega wolf, okay, this ultra alpha wolf from Yosemite keeps popping to mind. So it will be interesting to see more about maybe the utility and the plans that this project has as well. But in terms of artwork, I think that you highlighted it. I mean, I'm not a huge art NFT guy, like I mentioned, but obviously this is a good starting point, and they
Not
paid
bad, yeah.
attention enough to let those ears pop out of that hat, like you mentioned. So
That's cool, yeah. And then they got the fire eyes. I like that one. And the gold nose was probably my favorite. I don't know if that'll be rare, but this one here, he looks totally baller. Can I actually zoom
oh,
in on him?
you don't
I
want to
like
play
the
poker against him, man. You'll be out of money.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
like the Alpha Wolf, and actually Alpha Wolf is on their team. One of their team members is called Alpha Wolf. Super cool guy, and you can see like this guy's totally baller, right down to his nose. It's made out of gold, so very cool. Um, so in terms of the roadmap, they're really just getting started. Their first mint is next week, and they have some really cool stuff that they're doing in the first 30 days of their mint. I haven't seen any project doing this. So we're going to move over to the white paper, and I'll tell you about that. But there's some special stuff happening. You can see this one here with the ears again, and then Alpha Wolf, totally baller, this time with a cigar in his mouth. Very, very cool. So that's Alpha Wolf on the team, and then Pharaoh is the designer, and Apache. And just you can see what I was telling you about the clothes there. Just kind of that nice texture, kind of almost 3D. You can see the crease and the folds over here. I just like that treatment on the clothes. I thought that was really well done. So jumping down, I will cover a few of the fact items. So in terms of utility, they're not promising to do a huge metaverse or anything like that. There is a note that they might make a 3D or animated version of their wolves,
I think
but
that'd
they're
be
not.
smart.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
being, very, very responsible, very humble, very realistic, and not planning to do a metaverse on day one.
Mhm.
As I talked about, the mint is next week. It's the 15th of May at 7 p.m. UTC. I think that's actually when we go live, isn't it? But we go live around 7 p.m. UTC. But I think this might be on a Sunday, so I think we'll be okay. And then the mint price is 45 ADA. So very, very humble pricing, right? Only 45 ADA. With the price of ADA being down right now, that's what, maybe $40, maybe 35 US dollars. So quick heads up on that. And then, yeah, you can use any of your wallets. So your Roy, Daedalus, NAMI, just make sure not to use an exchange wallet. So just the standard basics there. You can see a little bit more of their art down here. But I want to jump over to their white paper. So I was reading through this last week, and there's some pretty cool stuff in the white paper. One thing is like why wolves. At the top, they talk about how they chose this project. And this is what I was talking about earlier, how wolves are a creature that are all about loyalty and family, right? Like the wolf pack, friendship, teamwork, right? Protection, playfulness. These are all
That's
like
true.
wicked attributes. Like wolves, now that I look at this list, are a pretty wicked creature. And so I
Yeah.
think it's a great idea for like an NFT, right? Like compared to frogs. I mean, I love frogs too, but like I love that wolves are so community and social driven. So I thought that was pretty cool. There's a story here around how it all started, how Alpha Wolf kind of built up his team and worked with Pharaoh, the designer. There's a little bit more background on the team is in their white paper. But what I want to talk about is what's happening in the first 30 days after mint. What they're going to be doing is burning one NFT by sweeping the floor every day. So what they're going to do is every day they're going to burn one of the wolves in the first 30 days. So that's going to reduce the supply by 30 right there. Those wolves will never come back. They're going to go onto the market, they're going to buy the floor, and they're going to burn one NFT per day. And so that's pretty cool. We could see how that could help both increase the price because they're taking something off the floor and burning it, which reduces the supply. I don't think I've ever seen that done. They're also going to be sending 50% of royalties to a charity. I'll tell you about the Wolf Sanctuary in a minute. And then 50% will be given away to holders via raffles. Okay, so during the first 30 days, half of the royalties go back as raffles. The other half go out to help wolves in a wolf sanctuary. It's actually a nonprofit, and so they need funding. Now, after the first 30 days, they're going to be taking 50% of their royalties for marketing and then leaving 50% for the holders. And they're going to continue burning one NFT per week. So we've burnt 30 NFTs in the first month, plus 52 more NFTs over the next year. So that's 80, right? We're getting up to like 83 NFTs, 82 NFTs that are going to get burned as part of their burning strategy. So that's pretty cool. I don't know that we've seen a lot of burning stuff happening. Very humble royalty percent, 5%, nothing wrong with that. And then, as I mentioned, they're going to be donating to a wolf sanctuary. It's called Wild Spirit Wolf Sanctuary. I'll show it here. And this is a totally legit sanctuary. They're a nonprofit organization. And so they don't receive money from the government. And so they rely on donations from the community. from regular people just like you and me. Even though I'm a cat, I do love my canine friends. I love wolves. And so I love this idea that they're going to be supporting that sanctuary. Let me actually jump back. Well, let me pause there while this is loading, G Crypto. Anything that you've heard so far that's interesting?
Dude, so I actually really like that we can, go and research more about the Wolf Sanctuary, because I do think that there's a lot of projects that say they're doing something with charity and they don't even talk about the charity or explain what it is. So I actually like that quite a bit, because obviously whenever someone mentions charity, you just want to know that it's real, right? So I like that they've done that.
I agree. They've already picked a charity. There's not going to be a vote or anything. Full transparency there. And as I just mentioned, it's a nonprofit, and so they don't get government funding. So very, very cool. You can see a little bit more of the art here. Some of these are on their website as well, but you can see more of them here if you want to see that. In terms of their roadmap, right now they're still in the pre-mint phase. So they're doing YouTube reviews of their project. That's what we're doing here today. Also, AMA sessions in Discord to increase the amount of transparency. A whole bunch of various contests that they're doing in their Discord. This is a project that is doing a lot in their Discord compared to like their website. So definitely join their Discord. There's a link to it on their website. And then post-mint, they've got a bunch of stuff that's coming on their roadmap. Obviously, just a lot of community development, Twitter, more YouTube reviews. So they're going to keep, remember, I talked about 50% of their royalties are going towards marketing and YouTube and Twitter and other promotion tactics. And so they do have like a marketing hat on, and they're looking at their project with a marketing lens and trying to do what they can to keep the buzz, to keep the momentum going. Okay. They also talked about partnering with the metaverse on Cardano. So not building one, but potentially creating 3D versions of their NFTs, potentially to partner with another metaverse project, which is good.
Smart.
Yeah, it's smart. We have enough, I
Think
think.
about this, man. Like, if they want to actually realize the picture that we started with, where people can be wolves and play poker with each other and smoke their virtual pipes, that's how you do it. You make a 3D avatar and you buy up maybe land in something like Cornucopias or a Pavia, and then you make a themed like house, and now you have a actual poker hangout for all of these wolves in the community to come in and just chill, relax, and that builds culture, that provides marketing material. Those things would slap on TikTok. If you get a minute session of wolves talking to each other in VR, that would slap on TikTok. So
sick.
That's the stuff that I think about.
Yeah, I wanted to bring up this comment quickly from Jonathan. Says that the wings look super clean, and I agree. I think they've done a really good job with the wings here. You can see the wing art with different shading. You can see the shadows here. So it's really well done in terms of 2D art. So I also wanted to talk about one last thing here on their roadmap. They want to have mutating wolves to werewolves. We've just finished talking about how Ape Nation will have this mutation functionality. And here you're saying that you're going to be able to mutate your wolves into werewolves. Now, it'll be cool to find out if I can keep my original wolf or if this will be like a replacement. And if the werewolves look cool enough, maybe it's okay that I'll lose my OG wolf. But maybe they'll go the Ape Nation direction and let me keep them both. They talked about having 3 different serums, and only 3% are going to be the super rare serum that will change into a rare wolf, a rare werewolf. Well, I'll try to say that 3 times fast. Rare werewolf. Yeah. Give it a shot. Give it a shot, Jay.
Rare werewolf. Rare werewolf.
It's
rare werewolf. Boom.
It's not easy, right?
Well, dude, I'm from ours are already tough in Massachusetts.
Oh yeah, from Boston. Okay. So there they are. You can see the werewolf there, looking pretty sick. This is obviously just an early concept, but they have this mutation idea, which I think is cool. Mint Day next weekend, 7 p.m. UTC. Only 2,500 supply. Okay, 2,500 supply, and remember, 80. What did we say? Maybe 82 of these are going to get burnt as part of their burning program. So that'll take us down to 2,400 supply. So very cool. Why May 15th? Check this out. May 15th is actually a full moon. In fact, on May 15th, you're going to be able to see 99% of the moon from the Earth's surface. So I think it's pretty cool that they chose May 15th, which is like a moon day, because they got werewolves, right? So that's pretty cool. So there you go. That's a ton of info about the Ada Wolf Pack. I'll say they're very early still. Definitely do your own research. So, I haven't decided yet how many I will mint. I want to do a little bit more research. One thing is they have a lot of people in their Discord. So jump into their Discord, jump into their general chat, chat with the team. Oh, that's not it here. Here it is. Where is it here?
Right. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, jump into their main chat. You can see Alpha Wolf here. Yeah, it seems like there's some pretty good activities, some pretty good contests that they're doing in here. There's a whole art channel that I was looking at earlier where you can see some more previews, some things that we haven't shown yet. The unicorn werewolf. This looks super, super creative, let's say. So there you go. Yeah. I see you shaking your head. What are you thinking? You liking that unicorn wolf?
I just wouldn't want to run into one of those guys, man. I would give them my money right away. I'd be like, hey, I don't want any problems, Buster.
Yeah. This guy. Hair
Dude,
on fire.
so I guess so for the next segment of the show, before we get into it, maybe it'd be fun to just tell a quick story. There was a podcast I listened to way back in the day, and Ray Lewis was on it. And Ray Lewis is one of the Hall of Fame linebackers and the NFL all-time just athlete. And he's this big guy, right? And he's telling this story about what an alpha male or what an alpha female, because at that point in time, everyone was trying to be an alpha male or an alpha female. He was telling this story about how they tracked this wolf in Yosemite, and it was the most alpha wolf in Yosemite. It never lost a fight. It would fight wolves. It would fight wolf packs, and they tracked it, and it would never lose a fight. It was like the king of wolves in Yosemite. And then he tells us that one of the biggest characteristics of this wolf that was different than other wolves was that whenever a wolf pup would get sick, or just the weakest wolf pup would be in their pack, he would actually go play with it and pretend to lose a fight with the wolf pups.
Oh, wow.
And no other wolf would do that. All the other alpha wolves would just stay away and be like, hey, you're too weak for me. Go get stronger or die. But this most alpha wolf was the only wolf to actually go to these pups, play with them, make sure that they're involved in the pack, and pretend to lose.
That's crazy. That's off the charts in terms of
cool?
empathy and development. I mean, it's cool, but it's also scary. How smart and how empathetic and how intelligent are these wolves? And are we doing enough to protect them? Are we hunting them? That's crazy. Yeah, that blows my mind.
It's a beautiful story. Because it's kind of how if you are, I guess, influential or an alpha or something, that's probably how we should all act, right? Not saying that I'm at that level yet, but I'm just saying that's kind of a cool role model to look at the animal kingdom and be like, wow, man, that's a cool way to look at life.
I remember when I was I can't remember if it was 5th or 6th grade, but we had to do a presentation about an animal. And we have to put it on a big piece of paper, a big board, and present to the class. And I did wolves. I've always been fascinated with wolves. They've always felt super intelligent to me. And I love that the pack mentality. I think it's a wicked, wicked animal. I think if I'm reborn, I'd be down to be reborn as a wolf. I love that wolves are being represented now on Cardano for the first time.
So, Timmy, what are we doing next? Are we getting the team from AdaQuest on? Can I get into the review of AdaQuest? What's the roadmap? Why don't we tell the audience so they're aware of what's kind of happening here?
Yeah, you got it, Jay. I think what we could do is let's just take a few minutes and give them an overview of AdaQuest, whatever we can share. I know you've been doing a lot of research, and then a lot of this will come up in the interview, so we don't need to go too deep. But I think it's great to kind of hear it as someone like you and I who are coming at it from a new perspective. What are the big points that resonated with us? And I have a couple things that I can talk about, but I'll probably take 2 minutes, and then maybe you can go for 4 minutes first, though. Let's share what stood out to us about AdaQuest, and then I'll invite the team on.
Yeah, so there's a few things I think would be important before getting the team on, which is a broad overview, sharing some screens. Let me just talk real quick because we need to slap some layers of paint on, right?
Yeah.
We need to give people a few ways of hearing and seeing these things. it's a play because it's like a play to earn project. So whenever you start researching a play to earn project, make sure to take your research past this show and do your own research. But also just remember, it's a little bit more complex than something like a social PFP project.
And this is why I asked you, Jay Crypto, to research it. You did such a good job with DLC, Dungeon Looters Club. And it's a good point. AdaQuest is a very deep project. It's a game. It's very complex. And so Jay Crypto has spent a few days like researching this in a pretty deep way. So tell us what you've learned. I'm eager to learn from you right now.
Sure. So what you got to understand, there's two things. There's really three things, but the main two things that go into this is a fungible token called Quest token. Okay. And then the other thing is NFTs. So they have NFT hero cards. Those are the two major assets. Now, the Quest token has use cases and deflationary aspects that stuck out to me. Oh, wow. NFT hero cards, though, are the most important aspect of AdaQuest. Okay. I'll show some Ada or some of the cards in a second here, but let me go through the rest of these. You'll be able to use these hero cards to create your own role-playing character used in the different game modes made available over time. There's 3 major game modes. The first one is like the one that's currently being worked on, tinkered with, and the web-based version is actually the first implementation of that. The other 2 I'm excited for, but just remember, this ecosystem will continue to evolve. The team has mechanisms to make AdaQuest as fair as possible and not pay to win. We see a lot of mobile games that are pay to win, where you just have somebody who just owns this giant thing in Clash of Clans, and you're like, how did they get that in 2 days? Oh, they spent $1 million or something crazy. They're doing a lot of mechanisms to increase collectability, but also make sure that their game, especially the mobile and web version, which I definitely am excited to talk to the team about a little bit more, is not pay to win, right? So they disperse a lot of the value. So that way every NFT hero card actually has like a value proposition, and you're not going to game the system by picking out the most expensive one per se. But there are factors that increase collectability in collecting these hero cards that do give you some benefits. So I don't want to make it sound like there's no collectability, because there is. I just think they've done a good job at balancing it. The NFTs are unique, limited edition. There's basically like 4 different tribes with 4 different classes. So I feel like that's a good place to maybe share my screen, Timmy, unless you want to say something before I do that.
No, I think the only quick thing I'll say is you talked about how there's different phases of their game. And the first one, that web-based game, they're calling like the dual mode. And this is where you'll be able to do like 1v1 combat. But then the second phase of their game is like a dungeon quest mode, which is pretty cool. They've got some early concept drawings of that. I'm excited for the dungeon mode. And then the third one, maybe we'll let them talk about it. It has the word goblin in it, but it's a much more there it is, goblin verse. I wasn't going to drop it, but let's go ahead. Yeah, the third phase is potentially a metaverse or like an open world MMO, an MMO RPG. So we can call it goblin verse, we can call it MMO, but they've got a very incremental development roadmap where even stuff like the 1v1 duo mode that's available now could roll into the MMO game later. And the second version of their game, the dungeon crawler, could roll into the MMO version. And so they're releasing like almost like these mini games leading up to a big game. It's super smart.
I don't think they need this game to hit millions of users either. If you noticed, like if you guys and girls start doing research on AdaQuest, one of my favorite things about it is that it ties into our staking model here on Cardano. We've seen other play-to-earn metaverse projects hint at this. Cardano was one of the first ones that I've seen, but AdaQuest has been around for a while. I love when play-to-earn games do this. So you actually, one of the ways to obtain the Quest token is actually by staking to their stake pool, which actually helps the Cardano network. In fact, I'm going to ask them this, but I feel like one of the reasons why they probably went and decided to make so much value in terms of creating an actual play to earn game that is so extensive and has different evolutions coming is probably to make sure that they can be a long-term stake pool in terms of 10 years, 5 years, however long, but maybe even 40 years, right? Because as a stake pool operator yourself, Timmy, I'm sure that you're thinking of how to keep people staking, how to reward them for staking. So I think AdaQuest is doing this in a multitude of ways too. Just wanted to mention that before I share my screen. But
yeah, and I think go ahead. But even just setting up a stake pool shows they have some development chops, and they're happy to like help power the Cardano network. So big shout out to them. It's the Quest QUEST pool to earn Quest token QST. Go ahead.
So let's talk briefly about their NFT cards, because this is the most visual aspect. Real quick, I just want to give a huge shout out to the Stone Biters, because I think this is hilarious. So these are like the dwarfs, right? Now, I'll go back and I'll just show you what I mean. So if we scroll up, we can see that there's different classes. This is one of the major things to be aware of. There's dwarfs, which there's a total of 852. There's elves, which there's a total of 1,018. There's barbarians, 1,034, and then mages. Now, all of these classes, remember, they're not making it pay to win, right? So it's really about strategy and optimizing which cards that you have and which heroes that you decide to go with. But what's great about these names is you can tell that they've done a lot of thought, because I just imagine these little dwarfs, building and biting pieces of blocks, and they've called them the Stone Biters. How cool is that, Timmy?
It's very cool. I love it. Can you zoom in at all? I'd love to see the art a little bit. Maybe use some of that. Yeah, there you go. That's perfect. Oh, wow. Look at that. Look at the detail. The hat. I like the hat. That's so cool.
So as you can see, each card does have different stats, right? But this actually gives them the ability to kind of diversify the value across the cards in an equal way and make it more strategy based, right?
And I'll jump in just super quickly, because in their white paper and in their light paper, they talk about how all the cards are balanced. And so if you see one that's really strong in one attribute, and it'll be lower in another one. And so there's no like super expensive card that's going to let you win, like pay to win. They're all balanced. They all have trade-offs. So everyone's going to have a shot.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Why don't I go over and check out their, just highlight a few things. So they give you a lot of directions on how to get their assets. This is like their homepage, I would say. They talk about AdaQuest, but let me just go right to the places that I haven't touched on. So the native token, Quest token, earn and use. Okay. Another native token, Y. Well, this gives them a way to actually reward their stake pool delegates. It also allows them to have like an underpinning asset for their actual game too. Okay. And you can get rewarded in this token by playing the game as well. So there's different play to earn things that come with this token in the ecosystem's development. Now, just by staking Cardano to their stake pool, you can get rewarded Quest token. I believe that there's like kind of a little bit of not like one standard for how much Quest token gets rewarded to people staking. And there's like a little bit of fluctuation, kind of like how we see in other play to earn metaverses like Cardania. It all depends on the stake pool, how many people are staking to AdaQuest, and maybe things like that could play in. But I'm excited to talk to the team about it. So basically, you can earn just by staking ADA, both interest on your ADA and Quest token to the stake pool, which is really cool. The other thing is there's use cases for the Quest token. We'll get into that more in a second, but one of the big ones is actually a huge discount on their marketplace, their in-house marketplace. So you get a 20% discount by using the Quest token. There's also a thing called Incinerate. So I talked earlier about how the Quest token has a deflationary aspect.
Yeah.
Well, basically, portions of the Quest token, when you use them in something like the Quest market and in game, could actually have burning mechanisms. This is something that's very early here on Cardano, but I do think it has a use case. A lot of times we demonize burning. We say, oh, well, why would we burn tokens? But on other ecosystems, they do burn tokens. In fact, some layer ones even burn their tokens. For example, Ethereum with ETH, right? With ETH 2.0 and things of that nature. Binance, BNB gets burned. But what I think it's most useful for is not in a layer one, but actually in something like a play to earn game. So you can look at how they're doing that. And if that's not enough for you, let's just go over some of the brief highlights too of their light paper. They made a beautiful light paper. So as Timmy mentioned, they have this mobile web browser game, I'm told as well, that they're actually transitioning to just because of some maybe just some walls that they can't break, maybe due to laws. We'll talk to the team about it to specify more, but in their DMs, they did tell me that they're probably going to be doing a web browser game instead of a mobile game at first. But the mobile game could come. Then they're going to be doing the phase 2 game and phase 3 game. So we won't worry about that just yet. But the game phase 1 looks kind of like this. So Timmy, it's going to be me versus you. I'm going to have my stone biter biting stones. You're going to have your elf, doing things, right? And based on what we equip, we can play against each other. Okay. So there's some definite research that you guys can do to figure out the intricacies of how to build a hero and equip it with the right things. But that's what's great. We're just giving you the top of the funnel, and you can dig deeper after this show.
And I'll just share a meta point. Look how beautiful like this document is. Like they've just put a lot of great effort into the layout and the font and the text treatment here. I just think this is top quality. They're a proper game studio. A lot of the team used to work professionally at game companies, Electronic Arts, which is where I used to work, but there's a bunch of others that are listed in their CVs that all come from a game industry background. And you can see they're very professional.
That makes sense too, right? I think it's also a game that's very doable. It's like it's doable. You can create a really cool community around it. What people don't realize about card games is there's certain groups of people that play like these really niche card games with each other, and they're kind of like they kind of like have this big community. Now, I think the problem with traditional card games is unless you were in a local jurisdiction with friends that you could meet up and play with in your mom's basement or something, right? Then you probably missed out on actually finding the other people interested in that same niche card game as you. What Web3 does is it actually allows us to connect worldwide, and so does online card games as well. But that's why I think that something like this doesn't need to scale for the actual assets to become more and more valuable. So obviously we talked about the hero NFTs, there's Destiny cards and item cards. So this is what I was talking about when it comes to finding what things to equip your hero with, things of that nature. The Destiny cards, these are the starting template for your character. Okay, they determine your base stats and come with their own exclusive set of abilities, right? And no abilities are the same because they're completely unique. These abilities can be used in the fights, or excuse me, no stats are the same. So every card is completely unique. And then you have the item cards too. These will be equipped on your character and can also have abilities that trigger during the fight. Each NFT item will have the chance for a randomized appearance. So how do you get these cards? Well, there's two major ways. You can loot them by playing the game, or you can buy them on something like a NFT marketplace like JPEG Store, right? We've talked about why it's not pay to win, why it's not pay to play. We've talked about how it's what's it called, Timmy? Play to earn, right?
Yep.
So
P2E.
P2E. So what are some more use cases? Well, we've talked about the 20% for the Quest token. I mean, not for the NFTs, but we talked about the 20% discount on NFT purchases by stacking those Quest tokens. You get a nice discount. Can be, and by the way, this is a good mechanism for a play to earn game to have for their underlying token, because when it comes to burning some of these Quest tokens and decreasing the supply, that kind of helps balance out when they're giving out this Quest token to delegates in their stake pools and things of that nature, right?
Yep.
Can be used to buy exclusive NFTs. So some NFTs can only be bought with the Quest token. And then you can access the Goblinverse. We don't have much information right now on that, but obviously stay tuned, because like Timmy said, these people are legit behind this, and they might start with this one phase 1 game that does really well. And I could see them branching out and making the ecosystem broader and more complex too. And maybe really fun to play.
I love this slide right here and just the header. Can you show it on a convoluted infographic? That's so creative. I love that. Kind of like, we've seen other projects with these really complicated graphics. So I love the way they titled that.
So look at this wallet. Okay. Stake your ADA and then receive Quest token, right? Then you have your wallet. Okay, you have your Quest token in there now. You get discounts on the marketplace, the AdaQuest marketplace, right? You get an NFT from that marketplace. Okay, you have the IDO seed funding, which was a way to get Quest token, right, and give some value to the underlying token. Then you also have this double arrow here, which goes directly from the Loot Ada's Quest NFTs that you use NFTs in the game, and you can get rewards from that. All right, and then you can also see a beautiful picture, right, of using this NFT in the game. Then you also have trading of NFTs. Okay, NFT Jam pays royalties to AdaQuest. Okay, so the marketplaces that they use, they get some royalties, which is actually a good thing, I think, for any game to have a revenue-making model. So there's obviously a lot of parts, but man, they've condensed this really well, huh, Timmy?
I think so. Yep, I think so. I think you've covered a lot, and there's a lot happening on this project. And I want to just take another minute just before we bring the team on
I
and
love
talk about.
Rob. I'm sorry, I just gotta give a huge shout out to Rob.
Yeah, he says he's late, but it's actually really late where he is too. I think it's late
Yeah,
into the evening now, so totally understandable.
we don't care,
Um,
Rob. We love to see you, man.
Big shout out cornucopias. I'm a big land sale coming from what I understand. Everyone, keep your eye on that cornucopias project. Um,
Which is
I
another
wanted.
play to earn game. And these games, like what's great about this industry, right, is there's so many ways to do it. So AdaQuest, I think, is doing a great job because they're keeping it really simple. They're doing things really doable, and it's native to Cardano with their like inherent reward system of Quest token, the use cases of that for the people that like their game, to stake with the stake pool, which is what good for Cardano.
I'll be super quick. I just want to mention that they have their stake pool, which is the Quest stake pool, QUST. And when you stake to this pool, you'll get the QTS token. And the QTS token is actually on MuesliSwap. It's one of the verified tokens on MuesliSwap. You'll see it here, QTS. Now, there's not a lot of activity yet. I was taking a look at it. It says like there's not yet enough data, so there hasn't been a ton of trading or volume on here yet. But it is a verified token, so that's pretty cool. You'll be able to get some liquidity that way. And then I also wanted to talk about Project Catalyst proposal that they have. The AdaQuest team actually has a proposal in Catalyst in order to continue building out their prototype, in order to continue building out their project. So they're asking for just shy of $40,000, which will be, a ton to support the development team. You can see that Dirk, their tech lead, used to work at Ubisoft. And I looked at the rest of the
company.
Yeah, huge gaming company. I think they have guys from THQ, Activision, and of course, Electronic Arts. So anyone that's like involved in Catalyst, keep an eye out for AdaQuest, since they're participating in that project with a proposal right now.
I
I
think
also
the
did want to
voting
look.
has ended, right, for Fund 8. So now we're just waiting to see if that went through. Was that a proposal for Fund 8? Do you know, Timmy? Or
Good
oh yeah,
question.
Fund 8. So
Yeah.
we're gonna see soon if they if that was passed or not. But love to see projects using Project Catalyst.
Very cool. And also, I forgot to mention, the QTS is actually stakeable on MuesliSwap. So big heads up on that they've got some staking integration here for holders of that. Okay, are we ready? Maybe should I send the link to the team now? What do you think?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Let's get them on. There's definitely some clarifications on game phase 1. We'd love to break it down with them on where it's kind of at and where they're going with that. Also, some interesting things that they mentioned, like how they're burning the tokens, would be fun to discuss if they have more information on that. Yeah, so I'm excited.
Very cool. Okay, well, we'll just give them a minute or so to join now. I also can share actually while they're joining. There is a brief demo. See if I have it here of the web-based game, and they also just had a tournament, which is something I definitely want to ask them about.
Right.
Let me just see if I still have their demo available. Yes, so I'll go ahead and share just one more time while they're joining. So this is a video they did showing their web-based mobile game. And so it is a mobile game, but you're going to do it in your browser. And the reason that they've done this is because the App Store actually has restrictions on doing crypto. If you're going to do crypto and sell crypto, actually, let me get out of there. you have to kind of disclose that you're a financial product and that you're selling and using NFTs and crypto. And so for that reason, it's a lot easier for them to start with a web-based, a mobile web-based game.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense.
It looks pretty cool. Check out this menu. It looks like a native application. It's just beautiful the way the menu comes out there. Very nice animations.
Yeah, I like that.
You could totally imagine this being, you know,
Dude, that's
a native application.
That's
Is
a
it?
stone biter too. Yeah, it's a dwarf. That thing
Very
is
cool.
biting some stones, man.
Okay, well, I think I see them in a lobby here. Let me go ahead. Let's bring them in. We've got Alex joining us first from the AdaQuest team, and here we go. Hi, Alex.
Hi, guys. How are you doing?
Very good. How are you? And what time is it there? I think it might be pretty late, right?
Yeah, we're almost at 10 p.m. and I'm sorry that my camera is kind of off, but I am traveling, so I don't have the proper setup here right now, so I apologize for that.
Oh, no, not at all. And hi, Martin. Martin, how do you pronounce your name? Could you help us out? I want to get it right.
Martin is perfect, so Martin is fine.
Okay.
That's good.
Very good. Well, thank you also for joining us, Martin. Is it 10 p.m. there as well?
Yeah. Half past 9.
Oh, wow. It's getting up there. I love the hat. So once again, thank you for joining us. Thank you for waiting there in the lobby. And why don't we start? Maybe you guys could tell us what your roles are on the team, and that way we'll know kind of who to direct questions to. Maybe, Martin, you can get us started. What's your role on the team?
Yeah. Okay, good. I'll be very quick because I think roles are important, but not too much important. So I'm the founder of Red Potion Studios and one of the guys who got the idea with AdaQuest and got a little bit of experience in the games business. And with me today is Alex. He is, well, what are you, Alex, at Red Potion? Tell us, please.
I'm the person who's getting hurt when the balance is not working out.
Oh, no.
So I'm their game designer for the project.
Oh, wow. Very cool. So we can ask like some of the game mechanics and some of the balancing questions maybe to Alex then. All right.
That's why I'm here.
And there's a lot we want to ask you about. I want to know how the tournament went as well. We weren't able to talk about that just now, but I'd love to hear from you about the tournament. Oh no.
It was a lot of fun. It was phenomenal. We had sadly the Spade Walker, the Stonebiter, went out pretty early.
Oh no.
Sorry to tell you that, Jay. But it was exciting. It was exciting. We had 64 people who went into that tournament. And that is actually a really nice thing because we just came up with that idea to create a tiny additional game that is, very much surface level compared to what we are developing currently. But we want to offer the community something to already enjoy yourselves with the NFTs with.
So cool. Okay, so why don't we do this then, Martin? Maybe you can give us, in your words, what's kind of the elevator pitch of what is AdaQuest, and maybe you could let us know where are you in the roadmap so far? Like, what have you done so far in terms of like the minting, maybe, and then what's kind of the very next things that are coming?
Okay, so the elevator pitch is already the thing you, Timmy, and Jay Crypto mentioned it. It is we are offering a use case for NFTs. So it's not just a beautiful art, but we like, as old school pen and paper and RPG gamers, we like to have a use case. We like to give the power back to the players. And so no power creep, no spending tons of ADA for a good setup. But the most important thing is that we connect the 3 modules or the 3 phases you mentioned to competitive game modes. So it is really not important if you are a casual gamer. I'd like to use your mobile phone, just for a 5 minutes duel. You can do this with our mobile duel game, which is currently in the development. If you like to go a little bit more cooperative, you will use the Dungeon Crawler, which will be a desktop version of the game. And finally, you talk about the Goblin verse. But before this, there is also something like the skirmish battlefield mode, which is everything integrated in one in different modules, but in the end, and you get it right, Timmy, it is our big plan is, of course, to combine this in a whole world, open world, or MMO, whatever. But this will cost a lot of time and, of course, a lot of resources.
And server,
Can I just butt in there real quick, Timmy? So that's really interesting, and I think that when I was reading the white paper, and then the homepage, I definitely saw that that's the plan, to make it as cohesive as possible, which is smart for the underlying plate iron economics. I know it's a bit away, but how do you guys think, because I always love to ask the question like this, especially to people that have been in the gaming space as long and are building something like this, how do you guys think about eventually, interoperability with other games and projects? Because I could see this really doing some damage across other metaverses, games, things. I feel like that would be like the next step that's maybe not mentioned, but obviously like the next step, I guess I should say.
Maybe it is not that far away.
Is that some alpha? It's something we can announce, or maybe not?
No. We're not announcing anything.
All right.
But we are busy in the Cardano ecosystem. We are very willing to help other creators with our proficiency and with our time and expertise. And what we are using for interoperability anyways is that we will be using the NFT destinies, the NFT weapons or armor you will be buying very soon, for example, will be usable in the other phases as well already. So you're going to buy, I don't know, an earthbound hammer, right? Just as an example. And you use that in phase 1, then you still be able to use that in the phase 2 as well. And that maybe gives you a little bit of a head start, right? Just to start dungeon crawling more easily at the beginning until you run into the vast majority of all the options that will be laid before you in terms of specs and playstyles.
But what I think JCrypto was also aiming for is, since you mentioned Cardano community, Cardano family, and everything else, we are currently working together with Convert from Crypto Loops on Fluftopia. This is another game where we are doing a lot of advisement and pushing resources to it. But the other thing is that we are already, of course, talk to other projects like World of Pirates. I don't know if you know the guys. Also a small project. We talk also with a duo Reveler team. Maybe you know Jason and Jacob from the NFT Gaming Podcast. They have plans to integrate their NFTs already in AdaQuest. Cool. So remember something, I guess today you talked something about wolves. I just tuned in a few. Hey, just imagine my Stonebiter, because I'm the dwarf fanboy. Here
he is. Just watch the replay on the tournament. He is so biased for dwarves. It's insane.
Like, how can you not love the Stonebiters?
I know, Jake. You are, so we can already talk. The others will never understand us. But seriously, a wolf, as a pet, always welcome.
Nice.
So cross project promotions or whatever, interoperability, what you mentioned. So I can really see already pets and everything coming to AdaQuest. Something like this.
I love it. And I think, go ahead, Jay.
Let me just say one quick thing, Timmy, like to get the audience excited about why I'm kind of excited too, and why I can see that these guys are excited is because this is the difference between Web 2, Web 3. I mean, we can break down these walls of other projects, and we can actually siphon the content, the IP, the NFTs, the creation into each other's ecosystems in a way that makes sense. And I just think that's amazing. Go ahead, Timmy.
Well, because we started talking about the Goblin verse, and we think about Metaverse as like an open platform. And so you can imagine other projects bringing their IP into the Goblin verse, and maybe even someone like the Defender of the Grove. We've got Janus here, who's a Defender of the Grove. Big shout out to the AdaQuest people showing up here. But you can imagine them all coming into the Goblin verse. Phase 1, though, is this mobile web-based dual mode.
Yeah.
And one question I had is it synchronous or asynchronous? And I'm thinking about matchmaking, and I was reading in the white paper how you guys are thinking about different matchmaking strategies. And one question I have is, am I going to be able to play solo? I think I read I can, like a player versus environment. In that case, am I just playing against an AI? And then when I play against a human, do we both have to be on the phone at the same time, or is it almost like a turn-based thing?
So let me answer this quick, and everything else Alex will add. First of all, yes, if you are playing against a human, both of you has to be online. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like Magic the Gathering, or Pokemon, or Yu-Gi-Oh, whatever you name it, or Hearthstone. This is important because you will have a timer which will run down, and you have to make a decision. Yeah.
Oh,
you
it's real time.
From Hearthstone, so it's all about making the right decision at the right time. That's the one thing. The other thing is what is much more important, that not only you have to be online with the other player, you will be also able to play a quest mode, where you go only versus the AI. So you will have more time, and it's a more relaxed gameplay, and you don't have to connect with another player. Yeah. So this was, and to be absolutely clear, we are creating a web app. Yeah. So a web app, you will not to have download this from a store, because we know app stores, Apple or Android, have currently problems with NFTs.
Yeah.
And we doubt that we will get an what do you call it? Approval.
Yeah.
Thank you, Timmy. Yeah, that we will get an approval from Apple or for Android, because we are using NFTs. Yeah?
I'm familiar. These first-party app stores, they have a review process, and right now, I've sent an app through there. They ask, "Are you trading cryptocurrency? Can people buy and use cryptocurrency? If it is, you're basically blacklisted. You're going to need to escalate to get a pass." So makes total sense.
That's why we decided a web app. You don't see any other difference. You just go log into your AdaQuest account, press the start button, and the native app will pop up, because every web app is possible to simulate a native app without any problem.
Does that also unlock the ability for me to play it on my computer, my desktop computer, or is it only mobile that you're thinking? Or what's going to be if I load the URL on my MacBook?
If you load it, it will be not optimized for this, and not in the first step. Okay. So because we saw it already, that the most users who are really interested in AdaQuest are using mobile, and we see it as demographics also on our website. Yeah. Current typical AdaQuest visitor is using the mobile phone. Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So, sorry, Alex, did you want to add anything to that?
No, I was just interrupting him, as I like to do.
Nice. No, I love it. So, I guess the next question then would be, when you look at other play-to-earn games we see on other ecosystems like Gods Unchained, I guess I'm a little curious on if you guys had any R&D looking at other things, if there was any projects that you could point out and say, that was kind of that inspired us. What I also would like to say is the second part of that is, I think what makes you guys really different, which I want maybe you guys can try to add to, is that you're on Cardano and you're linking this to the stake pool, which gives inherent value to your community in two real ways, which is they can get interest on their ADA, they can get the Quest token too. So I think that gives you kind of the competitive edge already. But why don't I just leave that as an open question and let you guys tackle that? So what inspired you, and what are the main differences of those things that maybe inspired you to?
It is. Let me start that out. And we actually looked at the broader space of NFT games and had negative examples. We clearly said we don't want to be like that. Not that we had so many that inspired us to do as they did.
There's something wrong with this. Let's make it better.
And we're about creating that. That's why we have so many actual professional veterans in our team as well. We are people who are putting fun and the positive experience first, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the entire NFT stuff coming right after that, because we don't want to exploit people. As Marcin said, we want to give power back to the player. That's why we want to have them stake their ADA in our pool. They earn their fair share of interest, and on top, for their loyalty, we're gonna reward them extra, right? We're not about taking something from our players and then just, consume that as a company ourselves. We always want to offer something back. That's why we just sat down and created that entire tournament game, right? Additionally, without any way to monetize it, just because we want to give our players enjoyment. And if we know we take some time, because we are proficient enough to say, okay, that's going to take some time, how about we give them something in between, right? Because we know that people are waiting, and we have mostly people, right? If you look at the NFT space, you have a lot of rug pools or a lot of sales that are coming through where the project, if there will be a project, that is just far in the future, right?
Yeah.
Just somewhere on the
scary.
horizon, there's a silver lining, and we're already way further than that, like way further. Like
right.
you can see our phase 1 launch, but I'm not going into hot water here, Marcin. Don't worry.
So do we have a timeline then on the phase 1, like on the duo game? Do we know roughly when that could be out? And then maybe you could also tell us, because I was reading that I can play it even without an NFT. There's a base Destiny, a base character that I can use. So maybe you can tell us the timing and what the experience might be for like a casual person that doesn't have an NFT.
Marcin, do you want to talk about the timing, and I roll up the free part?
Yeah, we forgot the best thing about this. This game is absolutely free to play, but Alex will tell you why we chose really free to play. You don't need any NFT to play this. The roadmap looks currently like this. We got some struggle regarding the NFT generator. As you know, if you come from a professional environment, you are used to create tools to get the developers working faster and easier. Yeah. For example, if you use an Unreal or a Unity engine, you will always create tools, because there are something like tools coders and programmers who helping the other coders getting quickly on, or people like game designers who can't code, put in quests into the engine. So we created an NFT generator which will really help us also to not only cover the NFT items in the future, which we are really needing for the game, but also to cover the whole free-to-play process. So that's why it took longer as we've first planned. Typical game development takes time. So currently we are really in the last, what do you call it? In the last steps, releasing the alpha, and we hopefully will do this in May. This is the plan. We are currently, I tell, because this is the plan. This is our internal plan. We are now communicating to the outside, but this is the plan. I can't promise that this happen, because every week since we are in the studio, you know this, Timmy and AJ Crypto, this can happen that some resources get ill or whatever, has problems, or we struggle with our tech. It's always new tech. It's always new tech. Cardano is a new tech. So May, this is our current plan, to release it in May with the NFT items. That's where we are trying to onboard the first wave of testers, alpha testers. So if you got an NFT, you will be, of course, in the priority group, of course. But step by step, this kind of procedure, releasing it for different waves so we can do stress tests and so on. So this is the plan. And regarding the free-to-play mode, Alex can tell you why we do this and how we do this.
Okay, so why we do that is absolutely because we want to provide a fun experience to our players, right? So if we, not naming other games, but if we demand that someone is putting in $400 in some kind of crypto just to play that game, that is seeing the players as a consumable. Okay, just putting it out there. That is at least my opinion on that. So we all, our entire team, decided on that we don't want to have that happen. So we sat down and came up with an entire plan, because that has to be balanced. That has to be implemented fair, because we all know that for mobile games that they say, oh yeah, we are free to play, right? You play 5 levels and then they hit you with a paywall, and you either pay in or you're out, right? And changing that dynamic was not easy.
It's a challenge, right?
It is, because we are on that verge where we want to create a rewarding experience for our NFT holders, but we want to make it fair. So if people are maybe going in and want to try the game first before they decide if they want to get an NFT and whatnot, or maybe never get one, that's fair as well, they're going to receive a basic character that has no specialization at all, right? So he's an even character, right? And a lot of the play fun is coming by equipping the weapons, deciding for an attribute, for an element, for abilities, and all those interactions you're going to have. And it's going to be the fact, since you are the average adventurer, we know from pen and paper, that you're not going to sling around chaos balls, right? Because that is kind of reserved for other destinies. But you will have a very fulfilling experience, and power-wise, you will be able to compare if you play your fair share of time.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
I have one last question too. Maybe not last, we'll see. But what came first, the AdaQuest or the stake pool?
The stake pool. That was the first. We started as a stake pool operator in the Cardano ecosystem, and to not talk about, but we are proud that we are the initiators, together with PlayerMint and Felix from the Catalyst Swarm, of the Gamers On-Chain Project Catalyst funding.
I remember watching you guys when I first got into Catalyst on an interview, and I was like, man, like, you guys are growing a tree out of your stake pool with so many different branches. It's really cool to see it. It highlights the power of Cardano, I would argue.
Yeah. It absolutely does.
That's the reason why, beside all the things with free to play, and so on, of course we have to monetize. Of course, people got to be paid. 100%. But free to play is not only about showing. Our perfect example is Fortnite. Yeah, because Fortnite, if you can download it and you will get a no skin. Everyone knows, but who likes to play a no skin character? Yeah, no one. It's fun for the first 5 minutes, and at least then I like to have Iron Man. Yeah, so something like this. This is the one thing. The other thing is that we like the idea of being the pioneers and taking care of mass adoption through gaming, entertainment, and fun, so people can onboard on Cardano. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the main reason behind this. Yeah. So
I saw a lot of that on your website too. You have a lot of videos around like how to deposit ADA, how to buy an NFT. A lot of really cool tutorial videos there. You're linking out to other creators. I thought that was pretty cool.
I mean, even the biggest crux we had in our development, the NFT generator, is generated in a way that it will be adoptable for other creators as well, right? Of course, they may not run a super deep card generator, but it can be changed, right? There are certain gears you can switch around to make it fit your thing, but the entire back end of all that development will already be there for you to use, right? So we are not just about sharing with the players. We are still there, for example, with Crypto Loops and the other developers. We're already sharing with them. Yeah. And we will only expand that with certain things coming out later this year. For example, I'm not going too deep into that, but there are exciting new revelations coming up for the entire ecosystem. That's going to be very interesting. And very, very much enhancing the NFT branch of the entire ecosystem.
Wow, very cool.
There are big steps coming.
I think that's right. And I think I'm excited to hear more on when those things happen. But what I'm really excited about what you guys are doing that I just want to drive home one more time is you've created a model out of Cardano that's incentivizing people to stake their ADA, which is probably good for them, right? Because ADA, it's a good thing to stake and earn passive income on. But you've also done this because you want to give value to the people that are delegating to your stake pool. And I think stake pools that think about this or think about how they can give value to their delegates are the ones that are winning right now. And really a model that me and Timmy want to kind of advertise is like, hey, for stake pools, this is like a good way to do it. Maybe not build a whole game, right? That's a little expensive for most stake pools, but at least how to give value back to your community and to get rewarded in the game for basically staking from the various mechanisms that you guys have. So it just makes sense.
Well, yeah, you get the QTS token by staking, and that gives you a discount in their marketplace. And so it's directly attributable to value. A lot of stake pools are giving away tokens, but it's not clear how we're going to use those tokens. There's a bunch of tokens floating in the ecosystem on drip drops, and we don't know what we're going to do with some of these coins. I think there's a dancer coin and like a few others. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that coin.
Super coin.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say it, but everyone knows what we're talking about there.
We are very familiar with the economics of a game, right? That's why we strictly disconnected the entire connection between quest tokens and our in-game shops, where you can earn fragments to buy a certain gear you want, and that's all just in-game currency, right? That's not connected to power. That is super close, that system, so we can secure a fair outcome for everyone in the game. Otherwise, we would just knock that over and we will be a power creeping Axie Infinity.
You gotta. It's obviously a challenge, but I love how you guys are approaching this, because you got to kind of walk some of these lines, since there's a few things to consider, which is not making it pay to win, but also rewarding people that are kind of using your innovations and games.
And loyalty is something really important here, right? We really want to reward loyalty. If you look at our
loyalty to earn, maybe is the better way to say it. Loyalty, I don't know, man.
It is they stake with us. Sure, they can enjoy the game if they're in for their project anyways. And
drink the Kool-Aid. Let's go. That's how you get the most. That's how you back.
You absolutely should not have your money on your bank account, right? So you want to do something that is working against inflation. And if you park it with us, we will double reward your loyalty, right? In other pools, you're going to get your ADA, and that's fine. I'm not saying anything against that. But we want to go, again, the extra step for the people who are sticking to us, right? Because we think that as very valuable to us, and that is kind of the drive. Otherwise, if we would just go for paycheck to paycheck, we would either create a completely different game, right? Because as a game designer who studied game design and psychology, there are mechanisms we could implement to exploit the heck out of
those dopamine receptors.
Yeah, absolutely. But we're actually thinking about that to avoid it. Right. That is actually a two-step process we're going through there. And I lost my train of thought. Never mind.
Let me bring us back, because while we have Alex here, like I want to talk just a tiny bit more about the game that's coming up, the phase 1. And so we've just learned that in the free model, you're going to have like a vanilla kind of neutral character that's balanced without specialization. And then the idea is you pay for some of the destinies or some of the more specialized characters, and that's where you'll get, you know, extra abilities. One thing we haven't talked about yet is the items too much. And what are maybe some types of items? Are they going to be purchased in the marketplace, or can we win them through battle? What can you tell us about the items in general and this equip mechanic?
So first of all, we are having 2 different kind of items, right? We have NFT items and non-NFT items, right?
Okay.
The non-NFT items will be lootable in the game, will be buyable in the game, right? So you can, when you do a certain amount of matches, you get a certain amount of fragments, and with that you can go to a shop and look for something where you're like, oh, that has fire damage on it. I really want to get a fire playstyle going. I'll buy that. Woof, that's yours then, right?
That's a basic item. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a basic item.
That's a basic item that is that has different kinds of rarities going up to be comparable to an NFT. Of course, we're going to have a little bit of an item progression for everyone within our items. So you don't start out with a perfectly fine character and you just need interesting other stuff, but you're gaining more and more options. The second version would be the NFT items. They can be found in game. They can be bought on a different external store, and they are there to offer more spice and more variety to the players, to have to give the player more the capacity to have an actual individual character they want to play, right? Because I for example have in my head that I want to play a fire mage, but turn him into a frost mage, right? Just go for something where people are looking at my character and it's like, I'm going to wear my fire resistance armor and I just come around and do frost magic. There you go.
My my lizard skin male, I think it was maybe one of the ones I saw. I got my eye on that one. I want to see if there's maybe a cat skin, maybe cat skin leather male. Super quickly before I let you go, Jay, I want to ask, how long do we think a battle might take? So when I'm on the phone and I'm doing a battle against another human, how is it? A 5-minute battle? Is it a 1-hour battle? You talked about how there's like a real-time clock. So maybe are there going to be different modes, almost like a chess game, or we can have like a rapid battle or like a longer battle? Tell me about the timing if you can.
The timing will not, it will not take more than 5 minutes to do the preparation, a fight, and then have reap the rewards. Of course, if we go into the PvE part of the first mode, when we get to developing that one, that will be more complex. We'll have more of a planning phase and less of a reaction and adaptability phase for the player to enjoy.
But 5 minutes, so I could do it anywhere. I could do it on the bus. That's perfect.
That's the idea behind the phase 1. Yeah, quick game. Yeah.
I was kind of surprised on one thing, and maybe you guys have thought of this, but I've seen in different NFT marketplaces, and I know that you're working on one. It's very convoluted. It's very disorganized when we get into play to earn assets. Like, it's tough. Like, it doesn't have the greatest UI yet. People haven't figured it out. So I was wondering if you guys were thinking about optimizing maybe a marketplace for play to earn assets and really make it like about play to earn assets. So that way you could get other listings from other play to earn games that come in and make your marketplace like the play to earn AdaQuest. Like, that's such a good name too for that kind of thing. Or is there limitations that you've already identified where you just aren't able to do that?
Do you want to answer, or should I answer?
No, answer you, because
currently we found out that we have certain limitations when it comes to language and keeping it precise and identifiable for the player when we're talking about user experience, right?
Right.
But there are things included that the big things I was talking about regarding a marketplace and certain possibilities that we cannot talk about yet. Some corporations, some bigger corporations that might solve some of the problems you were cutting into, and we cannot go into more details there, but interesting things are on the horizon for that. To make the marketplace for Cardano NFTs, that is most certainly something that everyone we are in contact with are looking forward to, and everyone is already putting one stone on another.
I could see that kind of unfold. I'm just trying to read between the lines of what you're saying there, Alex. I mean, I know that you're keeping kind of, cool, like keeping the cards close to your chest, but I could see you guys optimizing a marketplace really for play to earn assets. Maybe you're doing it for all NFTs, and obviously collaborations coming in would provide more revenue to AdaQuest to allow it to build and stuff. But that's interesting. I won't keep you guys any longer. Timmy, do you have anything else before we let these guys go? Because this was an awesome interview, I think. I think we really dug into what AdaQuest is, got to highlight some of the cool things about Cardano that it uses too, and also some things that they're really trying to avoid and set a standard for other games, like pay to win. Nobody wants that, right?
There's one final thing I want to ask about, and then we'll let the team have maybe some final words if there's anything we might have missed. But I wanted to talk about the tokenomics, because once again, I think Alex is in charge of that, or helping with that anyway. From what I gathered, there's 1 billion QST tokens. The team is taking 15%. So, very humble, not greedy or anything like that. But what I was interested about is the IDO element of 25%. Is that an initial DEX offering? Is that the muesli swap staking, or what is the IDO 250 million about?
The IDO is about offering people, and we have certain very assertive people in our community who cannot wait to start participating. And since our credo, our mantra is to adhere to those peoples, we're thinking about, okay, they really want to participate, and we can get stuff out faster, right? If we can iron out details to make it fair to them, and then offer them the bonus proposition of participating in an IDO, right? So when we go back like 6 months or a little bit more, our thought was, when we can get to the stage where we can offer them a solid advantage, then we want to have an IDO, and that IDO should be worth it for enough people. That's why we have to go, compared to, for example, the 15% we're going to take for the team, right?
Yep.
We have to go bigger than that, because we want to give them more, almost double of that what we are taking for us, which is barely 1%, by the way, because our team grew so large just to get it out to everyone out there.
And even that is on a vesting period, which is great. Big, a big flag for other projects. I think you guys are on a 6-month vest. Which is pretty good.
We could even go for longer.
12 months for some. Okay, maybe 12 months now.
Yeah, 12 months. Yeah. We started with 6 months, but we get it. We change it to 12 months. Yeah.
Okay, very cool. Well, let's go ahead and give you guys a chance for any last words. Like, what do you want to leave the community with? What do you want to leave the viewers with about your project as we get ready to wrap up? Maybe Alex, did you want to maybe go first and let us know what's on your mind? Anything we might have missed?
I'm not the big final words, guys. I'm grateful for the support we are getting from the community. I cherish that a lot compared to the exhausting work that I was participating in the games industry before. And I really hope that our example inspires more people, because we are shaping the industry of the NFT games right now.
Yep.
And if we do not support games like AdaQuest, the entire NFT will turn into Axie Infinity, and we don't want that.
Okay.
Ooh, that's a mic drop moment right there.
Yep, he named him.
You named it. Why did you do that?
Shouldn't I? Oh no! I don't want to be.
The last time I named it, I got bashed for this so bad.
I'm fine with taking flack for that. I'm just
there is
on a moral standpoint here, and that is undebatable for me. I just want to have something that is pro player and not pro companies. That is it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, the last
Sorry.
I
feel bad.
No, hey, keep it honest on the Gauntlet. That's what we always say.
Timmy and J Crypto, thank you for having us. Yeah, really, really appreciate it. It is a pleasure. I thought we talked today, J Crypto, about dynamic NFT because I saw your YouTube video and it was very, very interesting. And maybe we will, maybe we'll do something regarding AdaQuest because dynamic NFTs, I'm as much enthusiastic as you are. So I love this. So thank you for having us.
Well, let me know if you do, and I'll do a video on my channel too on what you guys are doing because I'm always looking for examples in our ecosystem.
Okay,
there you go.
Great. So that would be definitely worth to do this. So for me, the last words is just please be patient with us, in general, because games development takes time. It's not just like, I want this, I want that, and I got it in a few seconds, because I know we got the app stores and you can choose any kind of game you like. But if you're looking for something special and something with a soul and the mind behind this, that our mantra is really to not only onboarding people to Cardano, but giving the power back to the players, because you are really owning the NFT. It's your NFT. All the rights are in your hands. There are NFT projects where this is not the case. And if you are really looking for special niche projects you like, RPG, strategy, and tactics, please take a look at our website. Create an AdaQuest account. Create an AdaQuest account and join our community on Discord. These are really nice guys. And that's all I can say about this. I hope that we will see you on our Twitter spaces or Discord spaces, wherever you like. We are up to helping to onboard you as best as we can.
Or maybe in the next tournament. Do you guys think, because I regret, we wanted to have you on here last week. We weren't able to. Will there be an upcoming tournament maybe next month or in a few weeks that we can give them an early heads up on? What do you think?
We hope that the next tournament, boom,
here it is, the alpha. Alpha's coming.
Will be played on the alpha. Yeah, right.
Okay, on the alpha of the game. Okay. And guys, definitely get involved. Like, I think when their alpha comes out, we need a lot of testing. Now, this is a mobile web game, and so it's really tough to develop for mobile. There's so many different form factors, there's different resolutions, and there's tablets and different iPhones and Android phones. In some ways, it's a lot harder than building like an Xbox or a PlayStation game because there's tons of different hardware that you're deploying to. And so let's all get there. Let's join them in their alpha and their beta and bug bash this thing, from here to Pluto, because I want to help out. I'm excited to check out the alpha.
Every device counts, Timmy. You are right. Every device counts.
Yep. So you guys will have a spreadsheet of like who on the team has what device, who has a tablet.
I already have tons of those. Tons of those.
I'm very familiar. Okay, good. Well, let's let you go then. I think my batteries are actually running out. I'm going to lose motion here in a minute. So maybe we should get ready to wrap it up.
Pick him up and take him to the room where he can rest.
Pretty messy. Thank you so much, Marcin. Thank you so much, Alex. Have a great weekend. Bye now.
You too, guys.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, awesome conversation. I love it.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Wow,
okay,
man.
Cool. Wow. Very cool.
That was really fun. I got dude, that was exciting. That was really fun. Timmy, I love doing these with you because I feel like we have a few different things we're researching and we kind of add to each other's knowledge of breaking down these projects. But this one is one that's building a lot of infrastructure on Cardano, I feel like, and doing a lot of proof of concepts and things that probably won't be, I hope they get credit for it in like the next 10 years, but I could honestly see like a lot of people using what they've done here as a foundation and expanding upon it as well. And I could see it with the next couple phases, them expanding their own project as well. So maybe they don't need the credit because they're going to be doing their own thing. But it is just, you know, it's nice to highlight projects that have kind of given us all a little bit of a template to run with. And
got it.
That was one of my favorite parts of that interview with AdaQuest.
Yeah, in terms of building infrastructure, you know, that NFT generator tool, it sounds like they're going to make that available to other projects. So that's a great example of them building kind of tooling for the rest of the community. I think also, I loved your question about like what came first, AdaQuest or the stake pool. That was a very insightful, kind of a leading question. I suspect you knew the answer, but it was a great kickoff.
I figured I did, but
Yeah.
I wanted to be sure because it made sense. Everything that they're doing is to really make people, not to make people, but to incentivize people to stake with them. And I was like, why wouldn't the stake pool be at the first thing that they've done if that's the case, you know?
Very cool. So as we get ready to wrap, let's take a look at the live chat. I like this comment just now from Cloud Hunk. Cloud Hunk was actually one of the winners of our giveaway last week, but he just picked up some apes and some vials from Ape Nation. So already Ape Nation is getting some new members of their community. Nice that you joined that. I hope you didn't raise the floor too much, Cloud, because I'm about to go pick up one of those apes right now. Hopefully there's still something under 100 ADA I can get. What else was, yeah, it sounds like, yeah, Janus, very cool. Janus is from the AdaQuest community. He's the defender of the Grove, from what I understand. And they talked about their involvement in Project Catalyst. So
I love this comment because it's like, dude, it's like a little bit of a weird moment for me because when I first got into Catalyst, I remember watching like a 20-minute thing on AdaQuest and I was like watching them. And now that we're interviewing them, it's kind of like full circle for me because I was looking at them as like, wow, these guys are like really legitimate in the gaming industry. They're doing something really cool for Cardano. And now that we had the chance to kind of interview them, it's a really cool, I feel like, moment too.
You got it. Now we also have this comment from CM. He's asking about Jay maybe singing a song. Now I do remember last week
the Old Town Road. I don't know the words, so I'm gonna have to. All right, I gotta make good though. So let me just figure out.
I'm gonna take my bike to the Old Town Road. Gonna ride till I can't no more. Come on now.
Horses in the back. Hat is matty black. Da 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 da. Yeah, dude. I need to know the words. So.
All right, that actually should have been how we wrapped up the episode. We should have faded out with that. But why don't we give you one more chance? Any final words to wrap up the episode this week, and we'll wrap in a minute or two.
Yes, I'm going to take my horse to the Old Town Road. I'm gonna ride some more. That's what I got.